if I want to say this, that if three sides of two triangles, I should say three corresponding sides, are proportional, the triangles are similar. Okay, so if you've got three sides of the three corresponding sides of two triangles are proportional, which basically means you were able to write out the fraction statement between left to right. If all three of those fractions work, they're all the same, they have the same scale factor, if you will, the triangles are going to be similar. It's basically taking and not having to show that you have the angles that are the same. Just like we did with congruency. Remember we had to say all angles, all sides, then all of a sudden it was just three sides, or two angles and a side, two sides and an angle, things like that. It's the same basic principle here, but we're talking about fractions as opposed to equality. So it's going to look something like this. That if we have, we'll say A, B, C, and X, Y, Z. If I say that our sides are, I don't know, 1, 2, and 3, well, that can't make a triangle. Sum of the two has to be larger than the third, so 2, 4, yeah. Say 1, 2, and 4. Then if I make the other one, I don't know, 3, 6, and 12. What you're doing here is checking to see, do the letterings match up? And if they match up, do they have the same scale factor? Well, if I just watch through here, if you want to match these through, if I wanted to check to see if ABC is similar to XYZ, I have to check the letters. I'm going to ask, is it similar? Well, that means all you're doing is your fractions. AB, BC, CA, and you check to see if it matches up to the other one. And do all of those work?
Yeah.
And that's how it goes, guys. It is quite literally that fast. Okay. There's no, oh no, I don't know what to do. It's follow the letters, write down a fraction, simplify it. If they all simplify to the same, happy days. Okay. And if they don't, they're not going to work. And that'll happen from time to time. It's a matter of just making sure that the lettering matches. If lettering matches, you're going to be fine. Okay? You're going to be just fine. Now, what this will ask us to do is something very subtly different. It'll ask us to say, hey, knucklehead, is what? Shoe fits? If they say, they might ask you between three triangles to find the pair that are which ones are similar to which one. And it could look like this. Is either triangle PQR or triangle STU similar to triangle XYZ? Sorry about my crude drawings. I tried to draw it. It didn't look as pretty as I anticipated it to. It's tough to draw with a mouse pad. We used to have these wireless slates. I'm trying to get mine to work again today. That were great. They're little Bluetooth things like a mouse pad. Those were awesome. We used to use it all the time, but they just started, the software crashed on it. So basically what this is asking you to do is to come up and make up your own similarity statement and check it via numbers. They're saying, is triangle PQR or triangle STU similar to XYZ? So you're going to do this after we put our phone away again today. Is PQR similar to triangle XYZ? It's asking us to do that. So you check it. Again, is PQ the QR? to RP? Does it match up to XY, YZ, and X, or ZX, you can go and order up in the area. And then it's the same thing, is triangle STU similar to triangle XYZ? And you do the same thing, you list it. Is ST, TU, US, XY, YZ, and ZX. And guess what we do from there? That's it. It looks like it's giving you this whole giant nasty setup, but in essence, it's the same exact thing we've done the past few days. It's just another way of representing it. It's just another way to write it out. So the reason that we ask you guys is excuse me, to show you guys multiple representations of these types of problems is so that way when you see a multitude of them, you're going to be able to pick out, oh, I can do it this way. Oh, I can do it this way. But the easiest thing to remember is always go by your numbers. Or, not numbers, just go by your letters. If I can remember it. If you follow the letters of what they're asking you to check for, you're very hard pressed to screw up because just like we did with congruencies, you're just following the lettering. You're following the lettering, okay? So you just fill in the blanks. What do we have? PQ, what, 35, 21, and 42? That's PQ, QR, RP, I believe. Then XY, 25, so we got 25, 15, and 30. And what we do then is just check it. And I know you guys all have the good old-fashioned, if you don't, Christmas is coming, you only have ding, ding, ding. On it's lovely, but we're slave right together with you and me. Outside the snow is floating. So, I don't know.
Hey Nigel.
Do those simplify out?
Your Christmas cookies are really nice.
Please stop dancing. You're landing on an airplane. Go this way.
You turned up. You turned up. He's so sensitive.
You never seen that dance?
Mr. Bobo, do me a favor. You know what I'm asking you to do. I'm just not going to say it out loud. Do these three fractions simplify out to be the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they?
Yeah.
You just don't say yeah without pressing a
You
button.
have a 50-50 chance.
Do you want that? All right, you're going to cut the red wire or the blue wire, you're going to blow up. You want to go 50-50 or you want to try and deduct some reasoning out of it?
Always bet on blue.
Wrong line, wrong movie.
7.
Wasn't that movie either.
Taxi driver.
Wrong movie as well.
Monsters Inc.
Stop talking. So, in this case here, do they all simplify out? So I know that those two are similar. I do the same thing with the other one, just I write out the letters again, check the numbers. What, 15, 20, 30?
They're not simple.
Yeah. We can make this tougher for you if you'd like. And then right away, you can tell that that second one is not going to work. Because last time I checked, 1 is not the same as bigger than 1, and that's not the same as smaller than 1.
Yes, I told you.
Yes, sir.
The answer was right.
Yeah, and it depends on the question. I think the question here said is either PQR or STU similar. Then in this case, you'd say PQR is similar. That's it. And what you said wouldn't be wrong. Because you're going to say the same thing, just in extra words. All right. So, like I'm saying here, guys, this really isn't anything more difficult than what we've been doing. It's just going to ask you to do something, maybe an extra step. That's all. You look worried. You okay? Yeah, you had the cross-eyed. Oh. I was worried about you. But then they throw in the algebra to you. Well, but think about it. It's still the same idea here. They're going to ask you what is the value of x that makes the triangle's similar. Well, x is right there, so I found it. But what I need to do is solve for it.
Yeah, that's right.
You missed that spot.
You're getting me mad.
So when you work, does that bother you that it's there? Good. So they're telling you what similarity statement they want in the end. So what similarity statement do you think you should write out in terms of the lettering? That one. And then what do you think you do?
Just plug it in.
Are you doing electrical work?
Yeah.
You substituted. There, I'll be nice to you. Feel better?
Wait, there's that one.
Again, it's telling you what it wants. It's telling you it wants that to happen. So from there, now fill in the blanks. 4, 12. Do I need to worry about, or do I have to solve for x twice? Because x should be the same value for either one of them. Which means I'm just going to use this first one. And do I use it as 4 over 12, or can I simplify it? Does it matter?
No.
It doesn't matter. Honestly, I would probably simplify it just because it's a little bit easier to work with. Because then if you don't have a calculator, you can do it. So when you simplify that through,
3x minus 3 equals 8.
we have 1/3 x minus 1 over 18. Cross multiply, you get the 18 times the 1 is 3 times the x minus 1. Distribute, most of you guys still forget that. And now you have 2 steps. What do you do?
You
Subtract.
add.
Yeah, I just messed up.
No, that one's already
You
close.
get
Yes, ma'am. And then just divide it out. Guys, the math that we're doing here is ridiculously simple. It's the same basic ideas each and every time. You're going to write out a statement, fill in the blanks, solve for x. That's it.
Does that mean they're not similar?
No, because what we did is we found the value of x that makes them similar. If x is equal to 7, then if I substitute back in, well, what is 7 minus 1?
Oh, like find the scale backwards?
Well, we've already done that. But what's the value of x that makes everything else work? Well, if I put 7 in here, what's 7 minus 1? 6. 6 over 18 is 1/3.
Oh, okay.
If I put-
putting it in the triangle.
No, and if I put 7 in here, I get 3 times 8, which is,
You need 7.
well, 7 plus 1 is.
Oh, 8.
So then I have 8 over 24, which is also 1/3.
Also, you just plug.
Can you scroll up?
On this?
On that.
Yeah, on that.
Wait till you
Yeah.
put it in the triangle.
What's that?
Josh, don't put it.
I was doing that over there to show that.
You cover?
Yeah.
It's okay. Floor must not be level. Okay. Same deal goes for this. If 2 sides, let me say this again. If 2 corresponding sides of 2 triangles and the included angle same deal. If 2 sides, excuse me, guys. If 2 corresponding sides and the angle between, well, if 2 sides are proportional, and the angle between, which is called the included angle, if that angle is congruent, then the triangles are going to be similar. So this looks like a side angle side scenario. But instead of being equal on the sides, they're going to be proportional on the sides. So you're still going to work with the idea of following your tick marks to follow through with the lettering, just like we have every other time. But it's just instead of having 3 sides being proportional, now if we have 2 sides that are proportional and the angle between, you're going to be fine. It works the exact same way then.
And without include.
Let me show you what this looks like.
It's killing me.
Same deal. Find the value of x that makes those 2 triangles proportional, or makes them similar. Find the value of x that makes the triangles similar. Notice how they give you that similarity statement. Yes, sir. 60.
Holy Lord.
Wait.
No, we just went through a shot before.
It says 60 exclamation. So, guys, remember sometimes some of the worksheets, things that I find to get examples, the typesetting was a little bit off. It needs a degree. It's just, it's not yelling at you. As much as I like to yell at you, this one's really not yelling at you. Guys,
At the beginning, the class said two triangles separated by S,
there's no side angle. There's no ass in math.
Huh?
No, you had 6.
And that's the idea. So, again, notice they give you what they want it to look like in the end. So, bless you, write out the statement. Boy, I sound like a broken record. What's that? You don't know what a record is? I thought you said, what's a record?
Yep.
Alright, broken record, it also means that it can skip, and when a record skips, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats.
Like in those scary movies?
Yes.
No, there are scary
Yes.
movies where the records Yeah.
Once again, I'm just filling in the blanks, making sure, make sure that goes through. What's that, Chico? What do you want? X. Well, in this case, since I have no information for either one of these, that's good, because that means I can just have to worry about,
So you just cross it off.
yeah, I wouldn't fill in those. I would just use that much. So QR, was it 30? UV is 24. And then the other one is 3x plus 4 and 20. Now, when you work with this, do you need to use the big numbers? No. Is it okay if you simplify them? Yes. You have a calculator, so does it matter if you use the big numbers? No. I don't have a calculator on these, so I'm just going to say, hey, these are both divisible by 6.
Hey.
Hey.
We
So-
turned up.
So if I divide them both by 6, I get 5 over 4. Be okay with that? I just put it on the other side. Cross multiply like you have been.
Put your face.
Enough. 4 times the 3x plus 4 is 5 times the 20. Distribute, multiply, and rewrite. Okay.
Hold on, don't. Don't stop it yet, don't stop it.
Okay. Subtract the 16, what do you get?
84.
How many inches, or how many feet is 84 inches?
No idea.
Every time we do a similarity statement doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get 7 for your answer.
Yes.
This is just what we call dumb luck. And if you didn't have dumb luck, you would have no luck at all.
Yeah, smart luck. That's planning ahead and having it work out.
There are sometimes there are no words for what I want to say.
You ever
The answer is I'm not going to answer that. So let me show you another example that does show up. Yes, ma'am. It's hard to believe it's. Sometimes there's moments, but
But majority of the time, like.
Sorry.
guys. Sometimes it'll give you something like this, where it's going to ask you to do a couple of extra parts. It'll say, hey, can you say triangles ABC and XYZ are similar given this information? The easiest thing to do is to draw it out. Then what do you do after you draw it out? You write out your statement, and then you fill it in. What have we been doing every time?
Right on. Fill it in.
Write it out, fill it in.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said no.
I said plug in. Like plug it.
Oh,
Oh, like you the plug.
like you
I'm
know,
finding this reversing.
are doing electrical work?
Burn.
Yeah.
Plugging in an outlet?
Broke my heart.
Yeah.
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 The one that I don't have.
Anyway,
Hey.
guys. Yes, I know that a lot of this is pretty straightforward, okay? But I just want to make sure that in case there are a few people that are still going, huh? So let's just make sure we got this right. We know that B is 60, AB is 6, BC is 12, Y is 60, XY is 3, YZ is 6. This one is pretty obvious that it works. Yes, sir?
So they just pick
And it's not trying to mess you up. They're putting stuff in that way when you draw it out, does everything match up via letters? Can you put the lettering together that matches everything through? In this case, it works out real clean because then the way that it's drawn, AB 6, XY 3, 6 to 3 is 2. BC, YZ, second and third letters, 12 to 6 is also 2. The angle in between them is also the same, so are these two similar?
Yes, sir.
Wait, so if you know that it's similar, would you just get one of the answer?
What do you mean get one?
That's what you do. If you
Well, what I'm doing here is I'm checking.
Yeah,
is-
I know.
But you shouldn't get. I don't know why you're saying you're getting one.
It's cross multiply.
Oh, all right. I see what you're saying. Okay, that's what you're doing. Okay, you did this. You're checking is 6 over 3 the same as 12 over 6?
Yeah.
But if you cross multiply, you don't get 1. You get 36 equals 36,
Yeah.
which is
Oh,
true.
okay.
Okay, that's right. That's why I was wondering where you're saying
Yeah,
1.
so it wasn't an extra.
Because if it was 1, if it was a 1-to-1 relationship, it would be congruent because the sides aren't equal. If sides are equal, the ratios are 1-to-1.
Yeah, I just know.
But yeah, that's how that would work. Right. Do those, please. I will put up the first few here in a second. You can get started. Yeah, we were a little ahead than the other class, which is fine.
Mr. Murphy,
Yes, sir.
you ever see that scene in Billy Madison where he's like, you made everyone stupider?
Yes.
Yeah.
At no point did your ramblings have a coherent thought whatsoever.
We are all now dumber for listening to it. Thank you. You may sit down. Something along those lines.
That's a classic. Go to the bathroom. It's not a new movie theater, it's just new seats.
There you go, guys. There's your first grouping in there.